Hi everyone, there's a quiet shift happening in our homes, and we're not saying it to be too dramatic or fearful, but when we had a parenting question, we usually asked a seasoned mom or dad, maybe a leader or a pastor, or even Googled it and looked at different articles, but now we ask AI. And we understand why, because we honestly use it too. It's quick because if we have a parenting question at midnight, we can just type it in quickly and it doesn't judge us. Who doesn't love a parenting coach like that?
That's so good. I have to say, I don't really do these kinds of questions into it, but I do a lot of translation. But over time, I think more you use it, more you ask questions that you should ask yourself.
Yeah, to think for yourself. But I do believe asking AI parenting question is not a good thing to do. Because like what we're really looking for, and I see that in the generation now, is to have quick answers. Like everywhere I need, like my kid is screaming on the floor, what should I do? Then we go and ask AI, we do something, the next day AI maybe says something else, we do that, and it's very confusing. A friend of mine, like she mentored me or still mentors me years ago. She said, it's so funny because she's a very different generation. She said, before it was the fax, and like this guy from Australia faxed her and like asked a parenting question. He said, oh, it seems like I'm asking for an instant response. And that was instant back then, which means something totally different now.
Google made a search, and this was already amazing. We have this phrase when we say Google knows it all.
Yeah.
But
or Dr. Google that we say, don't use that.
Yeah, but at least we still had to use our critical spirit.
Yeah, because we were fed different articles. So we had to sift through them ourselves. Or like usually for us, we already had like, this is the way we want to parent. So not every article like was one that we would read or be influenced by.
Yeah, because you will look through your filters to a certain extent. But now it's fed to you.
Yeah. I know I'm kind of sounding the alarm when it's with AI and especially parenting because it starts very innocent. We start with little questions. How do you spell that? Can you help me with that? Then we're starting all our recipes are over AI. We look for vacation, we coordinate different organizational things in our life or let it organize our whole desktop or...
Which I found the organization part of it, it's not too bad. What I found a bit difficult is I don't translate on my own. I always use this. So I don't even remember how good I am at translating.
Yeah, and we get worse and worse. I mean, studies say nowadays that if we rely too much on AI, we really lose the critical thinking, but also remembering and skills. Like we lose our skill set and that put aside for like spelling or whatever, which already is kind of too bad. But in parenting was never meant to be instant, quick. We always say it's a marathon and not a sprint. And if parents get used to this like instant answer, and then it's maybe an instant answer that is not even like built on the same foundation of the same theory, we believe it becomes our inner voice because it's the only voice we hear, and we even flush out the Holy Spirit, which I think is like the most dangerous part, because even the Holy Spirit is not instant. We're not like, give me an answer now, what should I do, what is this about? It's like really staying in His presence, soaking with Him, and in this relationship, like He speaks to us.
And over time, we lose even the sense of community because you go to the AI instead of going to a real person that has more depth to the AI. I remember there was this lady that was very close to you. She found everything basically on AI, And I was like thinking, it's kind of strange because she has access to you. She could ask you the question, but for us, it was easier to go and ask the question to the computer.
Yeah. And it just like raises a generation of parents that already have been raised in this instant society, that even parenting is instant and critical thinking is not needed anymore. And asking the Holy Spirit is maybe, we wouldn't say it, but slowly we lose the sense of spending time with God and like really receiving revelation from Him or insight or wisdom. So what else? It's also this quiet drift of values. I think especially for us Christian parents, we can't give up the parenting to a machine that doesn't have the same values like us. So we're called to raise our children in the ways of the Lord. And that means to really test everything that we let in our house, everything that we read. Is it in accordance with His word? Is it in accordance what He says it is? Is it in accordance with our value system? And I would probably say a lot of times we don't go through all of those filters because it just takes too long. We get one instant answer, which then like leads us to act right away without really testing it to the word.
I have to say I have the tendency to believe that the answer that I get is the right one.
Right.
And I've been challenged even by my own child that said you shouldn't trust anything in there.
And I mean, because I'm so interested in all of that and I'm very careful with my own life, I've watched so many research about that too, of people that really go deep in that even say that like when one person asks like who's the best football player of the world and another person asks exactly the same question, they're not going to get the same answer.
Wow.
So like what kind of answer are you fed?
And we have actually bad memories of using the product from time to time.
Yeah, a lot.
While I was writing a chapter in a book, I wanted, I wrote the chapter myself, but then I just throw it in there and I said, please make it more accessible. And what came out was catastrophic. It had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It didn't have the sensibility.
Yeah.
It didn't have what you said, this God DNA in there. There was no DNA of myself, of my story, and I had to redo it all myself. So we know it in some places, also with translation.
I mean, if we read it again, a lot of people, they don't read it again. They take it as this is foolproof. AI makes no mistakes, so I'm just going to take it and print it. Or like if I ask a question, a parenting question, like when my baby or with breastfeeding or tantrums or teenager, this is the right answer because you're only usually getting one answer. So we're losing that. And are we really rereading what we're getting or testing it, as I already said? So what we would encourage is, first of all, I would really encourage not to ask parenting questions to AI. Because AI doesn't have the same values. AI is not a Christian. We as Christian parents, it goes against our grain.
Man, I love what you say because it's like don't ask medical questions to
Google.
Google.
But we've all done that.
But
and like sometimes you come out with like you usually have cancer afterward.
Exactly. So it's the same. I think it's challenging in the first place, but less you do it, I think more secure you feel.
To just like get a habit of I'm not gonna ask AI parenting questions is a great start. We both use it for various other things like translation. It's like such a help, but we don't use it for parenting questions because even sometimes when I try to put something in to just like see what he says, and we've already like raised like our kids, most of them to like adulthood, like the answers I get, I'm like, oh wow, I'm so happy that I didn't listen to AI and I had a foundation of people, of friends that really have integrity in raising their children, and I could ask them because they had a history of we really were impressed by their family, but impressed in a good way.
Yeah.
We saw the substance in their family, the foundation lived out.
Yeah, and the substance is something you will never get.
Yeah.
So I love this kind of proximity, the substance inside a friendship. It's a lot stronger than a machine.
Yeah, we have to get back to the village.
And it's interesting when you say this, I'm like, actually the best way to have a critical spirit to the AI is to ask a question where you're good at. Like you mentioned, parenting is something that you carry, we carry. So when you ask a question, you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So maybe there's a subject that you're very good at.
Yeah.
You should test it and ask question, and then actually it tells us pretty much how dangerous it could be.
Yeah, and depending what subject it is.
Of course.
Like, but especially for us Christian parents, where we're like commanded to train up a child in the way they should go. In Deuteronomy also, the whole day, when we sit, when we stand, when we sleep, when we're walking, teaching our children the ways of God and not the ways of AI. And that might seem shocking because we're like, no, we're not teaching the ways of the AI, but we're slowly losing. And that's what it is, because it's so slow and so subtle. We really don't catch it. That's why, again, don't use AI for parenting questions. We need to get the village back.
Exactly, I love the village.
Yeah, get the family you really appreciate in your church that raise their kids and they're respectful. Ask them what they did. Like, ask people you trust. And even if you can't ask them at midnight, you can ask them the next day, and there's plenty of time, because parenting is not instant. And it's like you're not going to break your child if you don't have an instant answer. And you also train yourself. You create a habit that life is not instant, and you make yourself slow down. And that's what I think I do a lot with my own life. I make myself slow down.
You're good
extremely, but just to train myself in different aspects of life, that it doesn't have to be instant.
And if we look at our own lives ourselves, as you mentioned before, we read books, we went on internet, we didn't really have AI.
We take parenting classes.
We took parenting classes, but what really helped us the most is to, as you mentioned, is to have role model.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And the parenting class. I mean, it's really the combinations of everything because reading a book is not quick. It also takes time. Taking a parenting class is also not quick. But you're in this community, you're vulnerable, you can learn from each other, and all of that is really lost with AI.
Exactly.
So we even isolate more, like we're doing in the West already too much, and just like break open your limits, include and welcome the village back. Pray that you'll have that family that you trust where you can ask questions. We're not AI, but we're here on YouTube, on social media too. You can ask us. We have 3 kids, 2 of them adults and 1 like coming closely. So we would love to be there to just like help, support, and mostly encourage you on this journey, that the slow way, that's really the parenting way. And even if you have to repeat to your kids for 1,000 times the same thing, it's normal. And that's what I feel this generation now. I get this question a lot. Well, but I've already said it like so many days and they still don't listen. Say it again and again and again, because parenting is slow work, but it's so worth it. So I hope we hope this encouraged you to not use AI, please, for parenting questions. And write us every question or all the questions you have, because we'd love to answer them. We'll look forward to next week. Until then,
bye.